Hey guys, how are you doing? Tamba here. Today we have a video on abs, right? And judging by the title and the thumbnail, we're going to be talking about different exercises to work all four sections of the abs, right? So you have your upper abs, your lower abs, you have your serratus here, and then your obliques. And you can make a routine or circuit with these exercises that I'm about to talk about. You can make a time circuit where you are doing certain exercises for 15 seconds at a time as part of rounds, right? So if you want to hit all four sections, you can do 4 exercises, 1 for each section, then take a break. Or you could also do something where you're just going for reps instead of time, and you use time for maybe your rest periods between rounds. So you can go for 15 reps of this, 15 reps of that, 8, 10, 12, 15, whatever your goal is for your current skill level. I'll even throw in a sample round myself with some exercises you can do, so make sure you stay tuned after all the exercises are done, and you can get some of that information.
All right, so first we're going to go over upper abs, right? So most of these movements are going to involve my upper body and getting up off the ground here, right? Coming up into the air, right? So you have your typical sit-ups, which I really can't even do if someone's not holding my feet that well, I don't think. Let's see if I can even do any of these. I might surprise myself. These are a little bit harder to do. Yeah, I can't even stay up there that well. Usually if someone's holding your feet, it's a bit easier, but those are ones where, right, you kind of you get your elbows up to your knees. If I can get up there. Or at least to your thighs. All right, I'm going to skip out on those because I can't do them. But we can do other ones, right? So we can do crunches, which you're still trying to get up. You're not too focused about completely curling all the way, but you can put your hands on behind your head or over your chest. Those are pretty standard. Most of us have done those before. One exercise here that you could also do, but this is also going to work lower abs, is V-ups. So we're going to talk about lower abs a little bit later, obviously. But if you want, right, lift your legs back up. You come up and try to touch your toes. If you want, you could also, if you don't want to work lower abs as much, even though it is going to be hard for some people to keep your legs in the air, you don't have to do the lift part. So keep your legs, the higher, the easier it will be. But just come up, try to hit your feet or your toes. I don't even know if I can get my toes. Not really. All right, now we're on to lower abs. This is kind of a weird position for me to be in. But for all these exercises, basically, they're going to involve hinging at your waist here. It's also important for all these exercises that if you can, you flex and you make sure that there isn't like space right under your lower back. So a lot of us may, when we do these exercises, want to naturally have some space here, but you need to flex kind of down. What I think of personally is I think of trying to engage my glutes and almost like curving them up that way, and that kind of for me was able to get me to kind of close that gap in that space under my lower back. So this is how you can really engage your core and make sure that you're going to be working your lower abs. And so for these exercises, right, so again, they're going to be a lot of hinging ones. You've probably done a few of these before. You can pick a few, but they're kind of very similar to the ones I'm going to show. So one, right, is the leg raise, the leg lift. Now, the higher you lift your legs, right, these are kind of going to be difficult for beginners, but the higher you lift your legs, kind of the easier it is going to be, because you're going to have, right, down here is the hardest, right? One is static exercises to just see how long you can hold your legs straight out like this, right? So if you were doing leg lifts and you only come this far, this is going to be the most brutal, especially if you're not starting off with these. If you're doing them at the end of a set or at the end of a routine or something, a circuit, these are going to be killer. If you come up a little bit higher, it's going to be easier for you to you get more of a break in between. Right, when you're kind of right up in the air, this isn't really putting much stress in your lower abs, but when down here, it can get painful. All right, next one, basically leg lift, but one leg at a time. So these are just known as flutter kicks, right? Pretty much the same idea, right? If you bring your legs down here, and only in this area it's harder. You also have scissor kicks, which are kind of like flutter kicks, except you are moving them in the opposite direction. But again, you're kind of hinged here. You can bring up higher to make them slightly easier, right? Some people, I guess, if you want to add another movement or make it slightly more difficult, instead of staying at one general height, you can
go up and down if you would like. One other exercise is like well, you can do figure eights or you could do circles. Yeah, so circle, something like it, probably an oval. And figure eights. All right, now onto the obliques, which you noted before, right? They are kind of the striations that run alongside your abs, right? Basically what's under what most people call like love handles, right? The fat sometimes on the sides here. And for these exercises, we are going to be doing two primary movements. One in which you are twisting your body, twisting your torso, where you're bringing your elbow to your opposite knee. So things like bicycles and some other movements. And the other movement will be more of a crunching motion that you're going to have at your sides. So we're going to do these on the floor, but yeah, it's going to be more laterally where you're going to be performing exercises where you're crunching that area. All right, let's get into them. All right, so this first exercise here probably needs little to no introduction. So bicycles, pretty standard, right? You are going to lift one leg up at a time and also bend up, and you're going to be bringing, like I said, like I noted in the beginning, your one elbow to the opposite knee, and then putting that out and then switching. So most of us have done these before, pretty simple. Again, you're getting that turning in there, right? So bicycles, another movement, which is kind of similar. If you don't want to do as much crunching, you could do what I'm just calling seated bicycles. I don't know if they have a better name than this, but instead of kind of crunching up, you're just going to be doing them here. So it's a slight variation, potentially a bit easier, right? So again, right, the movement, turning. Another exercise as well are toe taps or heel taps, depending on how difficult you want to make these, right? So this is going to get more of the crunching in. And when I first learned about these, I thought they were actually going to be pretty simple, but they actually are pretty intense once you kind of start collecting a few of these together. These, you're basically trading off, going side to side, crunching in your obliques. So this really actually burns quite quickly, and you can feel it. Get these crunches in. So these are toe touches, heel touches, whatever you want to call them. And the further you reach, the harder it's going to be to kind of squeeze on that one side and really get your oblique working, your obliques. All right, one last exercise here for the obliques are, I think this is called a side plank crunch, or that's what I'm calling it. Yeah, so you get up here into a side plank, and in this stationary or default or set position for the side plank, right, you want to kind of, as well as you can, have a straight line from your head to your feet, right? You don't want to be sagging at your hips, really. You want to be maintaining a line. And then for these crunches, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be sagging here a bit, dipping down, and then coming and kind of crunching back up. So, right, you start from the plank, side plank, go down, and you push up, and return back down. So you drop your hips, push them back up. And now, right now, I'm mainly working, what's this? I guess my right oblique, right? That's the one that's really feeling that's getting the burn and getting the crunch. If I either right turn to my other side, or if I just turn around backwards, right, I'll be targeting the other one. So when it comes to when you're ready to target the other side, choose whatever type of switch you want to do. Like I said, you can just flip around, right, from there over here. Oops, falling a bit. From over here now, I'm working my left oblique. Or if I had just been over there and turned around, I'd again be working the left oblique. Now onto the serratus, the last muscle we're going to be looking at. So the serratus is this muscle kind of right above the obliques, kind of a bit to the side of the chest. And what this actually wraps around into part of the scapula. And what its function is to keep the scapula, which is the shoulder blade, adhered to your body. So you're punching out or lifting something ahead, right? It's keeping your shoulder blade connected to your rib cage, connected to your body. Unfortunately, my mic died during the recording, so I'm here doing this voiceover to let you know what I was talking about here for these exercises. But basically here we have a plank pulse up. For this, you see me here. I'm protracting my scapula or my shoulder blades, right? Bringing them up, and then I'm lowering back down into a position where my scapula or my shoulder blades are retracted. And this is the plank pulse up, right? And this is going to engage the serratus. So I'm about to show you here in a second, just for those that don't really know maybe what retraction means, because it's easier to see the protraction, but for the retraction, it's basically just bringing your shoulder blades together. So here I show that pulling your shoulder blades back is kind of what retraction means. So that's the bottom point of the exercise, and then the top point you see there, right, when I am protracted. So again, these will engage the serratus and be a pretty good workout for that. Again, because the serratus main function is to protect the scapula or the shoulder blades, switching between the protracted and the retracted state here really fires it.
For this next exercise here, you can do it with multiple different pieces of equipment. I'm going to show you with two of them. I don't have the third, which is the ab wheel, but yeah, we're going to go through two variations. So one is with what's called like a slider or fitness slider. You can put these on your feet, I'm going to use these for my hands, right? And they have like a soft, cushiony fabric material here on the front, and then plastic on the back. So I'm going to be using this to slide with the floor. What I'm going to do is going to keep my arms locked out and straight, my scapula is protracted. Just going to slide forward, and then try to come back in, right? So with this, as you can imagine, you can also, like I said, do this with the ab wheel if you have one at home. If you don't have a slider. And really, what you're doing here when you keep your arms straight, like I said, your shoulder blades or your scapula, you keep them protracted, right? Kind of pushed out and pushed back. Your scapula is being engaged. So you can lean forward as much or as little as you would like with this. And with this exercise, you'll also be targeting your transverse abdominis, which is the muscle layer below your kind of the block abs, right? The 8-pack or the 6-pack. Right, this will also be working that. All right, and now on to the second piece of equipment you can use, these gymnastic rings. So I believe I have these at appropriate height, we'll see. But, right, same thing. The ab wheel, right, you're on the ground, and with the slider I was on the ground, but with this, you are again stretching out, scapula is protracted. Yeah, I guess I could lower these down a bit more. 1 second. Get them a bit closer to the floor here. Probably could have gone even lower. But again, similar movement. On your knees and with control. Come out. Back in. You're going to feel this again in that area. So yeah, like I said, I guess a good thing here is if you know, with the ab wheel, with the slider, right, it's going to be harder the further you travel when you're that close to the ground. It's a good thing with these rings is if you have a distance where you can go forward with them, right, you can set them to a higher height to make it easier and a lower height to make it more difficult. Higher, I wasn't able to push out as far, but now that they are a bit lower to the ground, I can go further out. I'll just move back some. Alright, so I said at the end of the video I'd include a workout here, so yeah, we're going to do one, right? So I'm just going to do one round of one, right? I'll pick an upper ab exercise, let's do crunches, lower ab exercise, let's do some scissor kicks, obliques, let's do the, what were those there, the side plank crunches, and for this radius I will probably bring down the rings. Actually, I'll get the slider and I'll do some of those slide outs. So let's get to it. Alright, we're going to start here when my timer goes off. I think it's going to go off here, so I'm just going to do, oh, there it is. So, here we go. So, crunches to start off with. You can do high crunches as well. I didn't include these in the video, but the same thing basically. You have to reach pretty high. So, for this workout here that I threw together really quickly, I'm just going to do one round of it, and I'm going to have a 15-second interval between each round,
between each period here. So you can rest. For beginner, sometimes, right, I've talked about this in other videos, I like to hit a plank just to kind of keep me active. Like an active rest period is what I call it. So, right, now I think we said scissor kicks for lower abs. For these, right, remember, flat back on the ground. The lower your legs are throughout the exercise, the more difficult it is. So if you can start up here, start anywhere. You can go up and down, add some movements to it. Even though we're doing scissor kicks, I'll also throw on some other stuff, right? You can do the circles, figure eights, flutter kicks, as well as the leg lifts. All right, what did I say next? Oh yeah, we're gonna do the side oblique crunches. So for these, I guess maybe if you did these, you'd want to make sure you hit both sides. For the sake of the video, I'm gonna be lazy. Just do one side. So I feel like you should try to hit these twice if you're gonna incorporate these, or just, I guess, an even amount of times. And make sure you do the opposite side each time. So you do, one set. If you do even number, right, you would do one set for each side, left and right. And if you did 4, you would do 2 sets for each side. All right, now rest. And then what do we have at the end here? Let me get ready for this serratus exercise here. All right. All right, I'm gonna get into the rings, an ab wheel, or anything. Well, I guess not anything. Something that slides, or that just has, some degree of movement. All right, and that's it. All right, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one, or on the stream. Check out the stream if you haven't already. Twitch that, I'll just put it in the description. Too hard to explain the underscore. All right, see you guys.